This is step 5 of the 7 Steps to Heaven, which is available at LearnJazzStandards.com, a website constructed by Camden Hughes. And if you're watching this video at LearnJazzStandards.com, then they're all enumerated right underneath this particular video for you. If not, here's what step 5 states. Play using very few notes and relying primarily on color, which would be vibrato, bends, growls, subtones, etc., and space. Concentrate on creating as much space in the music as possible, so a la Miles Davis. In step 4, we talked about a lot of density, filling it up, playing kind of rambling eighth notes, kind of yada 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 sort of effect. And in this case, we're going to be doing the opposite, trying to use as much space as possible and thinking more in terms of tone, color, and effects and so forth. So step 4 is a density example, and step 5 is a space example. So using a play along here, Jamie Ebersol, show you how this would work.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So it becomes letting that time go by. You actually are listening a little bit more to the rhythm section in that case. So it's you're really practicing. Again, these are really more practice techniques, but they can eventually work their way into your performance. And I think if you experience the extremes, you're forcing yourself to fill up as much space as possible, forcing yourself to leave as much space as possible, then you're more consciously manipulating these particular ideas. Again, you can also do this with a metronome. Usually I'll suggest to most students that they're going to get more benefit from just playing with the metronome, or even playing, as I did in the earlier steps, playing along with traditional recordings. I used a Paul Desmond, Jerry Mulligan recording to illustrate some of the earlier steps. But if I have that set up as the quarter note, that's the spacing, and then compare it going back to step 4. Filling up as much space as possible. And even toward the end was folding in a little bit of step 3, where we're talking about note groupings. So eventually all of these, I think that's the main difference between practicing jazz and performing jazz. You're taking certain elements, you're focusing in on them, and to an extreme. So you're using an extreme idea of filling up space, extreme idea of leaving space, so really experiencing both ends of the spectrum. And then, as I talked about earlier in step 3, using these type of note groupings, eventually it should become a more organic mixture of all of these different types of things. But step 4 and 5 kind of go hand in hand, really, where one is density and this particular one, step 5, is space and color. And good players to listen to are most definitely Miles Davis. Some of the other players, Chet Baker, very lyrical player, melodic player as well, and Paul Desmond. A lot of the cool school players fall into that area of using a lot of space. So that's step 5 of 7 Steps to Heaven.